Welcome to our stretch mobility and recovery for MMA fighters. This is an MMA focus to release the things that we just used in our MMA cardio kick class. We're going to start with the feet. I usually do my MMA barefoot, which is great for foot fitness, but you want to make sure we're releasing tightness in the feet. I'm using my Rolga activator, or you can use your thumbs to massage in an X motion, starting at the heel, working your way up through the arch of the foot and the ball of the foot. Back down the other side. If you're using a ball like this, you can press and massage. Use your ball for pressure up the foot and back down. We can do some toe traction and just kind of wiggle and gently pull on the toes to kind of stretch them out a little bit. All right, let's switch to the other side. Starting at the bottom of the heel, working your way up. Doing self-myofascial release on your feet is really important for better mobility. Your feet are the first part of the kinetic chain, and foot tightness can cause plantar fasciitis. Yes, if you suffer from plantar fasciitis, it's a good idea to keep a ball like this or do the massage on your feet in the morning before you get up and also before you go to bed to kind of stretch everything out. Let's do that toe traction, just wiggle and gently pull on each one of the toes. Let's massage out the calves now. So I'm gonna again use my activator and go all the way around the back of the leg. You can also use your hands. I like to use kind of like a squeezing movement on the calves if that's what you're doing. Working all the way around the back. A lot of times calf and foot tightness go hand in hand because of the connections. Let's switch to the other side. All right, we are going to come to a standing position and do a little bit of foot fitness before we stretch out our shoulders and back. Okay. So coming to a standing position, we want to find even placement of our feet, kind of in alignment with our shoulders, pressing through the heels, the balls of the feet, and all the toes. Lift, spread out those toes as much as you can and lower. Lift, spread, and lower. If you wear shoes a lot or tight restrictive footwear, it can cause your toes to get really crunched up, and that can impact our balance and stability. So spreading out those toes can be really helpful. Spread them out and grip. When you come back down, try to grip those toes on the mat without crunching them up too much. You're just using the toe pads to grab the mat. You're gonna see the inside of your foot engage on the your inside arch engaged, those muscles. Do you see that there? Now let's try to just lift up the big toe. And the little outside piggy toe if you can. That one's a little bit harder. Sometimes the other toes have a mind of their own. It takes practice.
Yeah, that's hard.
All right, now let's press through all of the toes, lifting, pressing through the ball of the foot, lifting that heel off the floor. And press. Let's do that on the other side, shall we? Press. Stretching everything out. Press. Feels really good. All right. Going on to our SMR for our shoulders. I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm going to go to the floor. But you could always do these exercises on a wall as well. Using one of your balls, a firmer ball works better than a softer ball, but depending on your sensitivity level, something that's softer and squishy may be a better option for you. We're going to start at around the scapula or the shoulder blades. And you're going to place your ball kind of on the outside edge of the shoulder blade and slowly roll onto it. Having some nice deep breaths. Now I think I missed the spot here where I'm tight, so I'm adjusting the ball. If you feel like you don't have the right spot, just adjust it, roll onto it. Don't forget to breathe deeply. And roll off, adjust it one more time on this side. I'm going up to my upper delts, towards the top of my shoulder, rolling onto that spot. Releasing this tension in the shoulders is really important because when we are doing boxing and mixed martial arts, generally we are in a guarded position, so our shoulders are rolled forward for positioning. And we want to kind of release everything and open that chest back up for good daily posture. Yeah. In terms of the actual mixed martial arts, if you're too tight, you're not going to get the same power in your punches and kicks. So we want to make sure everything is fully mobile, loose and limber. I'm rocking back and forth a little bit side to side here to kind of massage out some of that tension. Let's move to the other side because we don't want to be crooked. If you have excessive tightness in a certain area, you can always go back to it at the end of our session and do a little bit more work. Or if you're watching this on the replay, you can pause it here and do a little bit of extra before you continue. Remember to breathe into that space. Kind of visualize that muscle tissue relaxing and releasing. All right, moving up to another spot across from where on my upper delt on the other side. Again, you can rock side to side. If it's helpful to do some arm movements here, that might help with the release. This is the side that I have the shoulder injury, so I definitely have some more tightness. Yeah. So doing some releases in this area, moving the arm can be helpful. When we have tightness in the shoulder blade area, it can also impact the movement in our shoulder complex. So you have your humeral joint, your shoulder socket, and your humeral joint. Let me come a little closer. you have if this is your shoulder socket and the humeral joint, as you move, this part here is supposed to move before your scapula. They kind of move step 1, step 2. And if you have tightness in the scapula, it's going to try to move that part with your scapula, the joint with the scapula. And it's going to really limit your mobility in the shoulder and can cause some pain, because then this humeral joint is going to get compress some of the tissue in that joint connection, can cause impingement. So doing the release in this area, I can't emphasize enough how helpful it can be. All right. Now we're going to move to the upper back. We can still use the activator here. We could also do some stretching with the Rolga, or a rolled up towel could be another option. Yeah, something that's about the thickness, or a rolled up pillow. We kind of want to put it in our mid back here. So we find the tension and we do a little crunch here, and we're stretching a little bit here. This is where something that's softer, if you don't have your Rolga yet, you can slightly arch your back and then come up, or a firm pillow of some kind. Sometimes I have clients use yoga around yoga pillow. Crunch. You can also, like I said, use your activator here, place it in an area that you feel like you need a little bit more stretch. But you're going to have to move it after 2 or 3 of these mini crunches to the other side to release. Notice how that little mini crunch is applying a little bit of extra pressure and allowing movement in that area to try to release that tight tissue. That fascia tissue is like Velcro. It can get stuck, and we want to try to melt away those trigger points. Yeah. Now we're going to move to the lat. So the lats, a lot of people's lats are tight, even when they don't do mixed martial arts, because of all the forward posture things that we do. We're on our phones, we're on our computers, we're driving. Even things like cooking can really pull your shoulders forward. And so the lats become over tight here. And this could be a really sensitive area. So sometimes a softer ball is going to feel a little bit better than a harder one here. We're going to come down and place that ball on the rib cage. Also, if it's too sensitive, laying down and applying your full body pressure here, you could also take it to the wall, because you can control the amount of pressure a little bit better. Breathing into the spot. Do you feel any trigger points there or tightness?
A little bit on my right side, yeah. Like I say, it's amazing though, with my fractured humerus, how much more flexibility I've gotten. You know, with remember you told me to do those, swing my arm around, vertically with the weight.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff. And it's, I mean, I never used to be able to reach completely over this far, but now I can.
Good. Well, doing release exercises and mobility exercises are really important to regain mobility. I've even worked with individuals who have had breast cancer, reconstructive surgery that impacts, they have to cut a lot of this muscle tissue, and they have been able to regain mobility. It just takes, it's a time-consuming process. Let's switch to the other side. Again, either using a ball, placing it somewhere on that rib cage where you find that you have tension. Alternatively, you could also massage with your hand like we did earlier. I feel like that's less effective in this area. Again, applying pressure, and if the pressure, oh, it's really tight there. If the pressure is too much, you can take it to the wall. Just don't hold your breath. Sometimes people, when there's a lot of tension and it's really sensitive, they want to try to hold their breath in kind of a grip. And we don't want to grip, we want to release. So picture that area releasing versus trying to grip and hold it in that place. Again, you can also use the Rolga here with most of the Rolga behind you, rolling on that area. And if you have an injury, like this is my injured side, you might find that you have a lot more tightness because our body is designed to help prevent injury. And so when you have an injury, your brain sends messages to the muscles to help protect that area from further injury. And so they get tight as a protective mechanism. And sometimes we don't even realize that it's tight until you start trying to move. And it can actually cause further injury when it's too tight, excessively tight. This is definitely an area I could come back to, but we're moving on. So now we're gonna move to the chest. And when I say the chest, I don't mean like your breast tissue. I mean up here on your pectoralis muscles. We can either massage with our fingertips at those muscles because this muscle attaches in the shoulder complex. And so if your pecs are tight, it can also be because of that forward posture syndrome, and tightness here can impact shoulder mobility. So if you have a ball, you can use your ball and kind of roll on it. You can lay on the ball on the ground. You can push up against the ball on the wall. My pecs are really tight today, so I think this is enough pressure for me. Let's take one hand to the back. When we're working on this side, let's help open up the chest by bringing your hand crossed on your back. So kind of just bringing it back there and massage it out. And let's switch to the other side. Take the hand, place it in the small of your back. Yes, you should absolutely get massages done periodically. That will really help. And some massage therapists are well versed in assisted stretches, which can be helpful. But most people can't afford to get massages every week. So that's where the self-myofascial release comes in, and because it's a self-massage, you can do it every day. If you want to help release tension in your body. As someone with an autoimmune disease, sometimes my body's really achy, and massaging out that tissue can really help. All right, so our next shoulder exercise, now that we've released, we're gonna bring our arms kind of folded across our chest. And I'm gonna have you cup one elbow on the other elbow. That's the side we're gonna start with first. Once your hand is cupping the elbow, I want you to bring the elbow up. Now, when you do this, I want you to watch this shoulder. And we want to try to keep the shoulder away from the ear. It's not about bringing this up. We want to try to get the mobility through that glenohumeral joint here. So we're going to bring the arm up towards the center of our body, pulling the shoulder away from the ear. You should feel a stretch in your shoulder and maybe your bicep. And release. Let's switch that. So now we're gonna go on the other side, cup the elbow, get your good alignment, start lifting that arm up, away and across your body towards your midline. Again, keeping the shoulder away from the ear. Again, you might find one side is more tight than the other. The side that I have my injury is definitely the motion isn't quite as good, but that's why we do these stretches. It's part of the rehab process to rebuild, strengthen, release. All right, we are going to move into now the part of our workout where we do some yoga sun salutation variations and some mobility stretches. The first is going to be sun salutation into pigeon. So if you're not getting down on the floor, for your pigeon, you can cross over at the ankle or cross over the thigh here. I'll give you some floor options as well. Big inhale up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, shoulders back. Feel that good stretch in the back of the hamstrings. We're going to come down to the floor here in a plank. Push down into your down dog. And then we're going to bring one leg, it doesn't matter which leg, bring a leg into the front. So there's a couple options here. You can drop to your hip here. Let me turn to the side. In like a crooked S position. So you're more on this hip. If your hip is tight, and we're going to lean forward into that pigeon, or you're going to extend this back leg straight. And I'm going to turn back this way because my mat is in this direction. We want to get that good stretch in the hip and the outside of the leg. So right here might be good. If you feel a lot of stretch in the outside of your leg, you might want to stay here. If you feel like you want a little bit more here, you can come down to your forearms. Or extend the arms and drop your head down a little further. Deep breaths, one more. Come on up. We are going to switch legs. So bring the other leg forward, whether you're on your hands and knees or on your toes. Come back in your down dog and stretch. Pressing your heels to the floor, bring the other leg forward. So again, we can drop to the side, like so. Yep, other leg is forward, good. Other leg is forward, tipping at the hip forward. Or as your hips get more flexible, you can extend that leg straight back. Some other ways to extend the stretch if you're super flexible is to make this leg more perpendicular and also flex the foot.
Oh, to make it out straight out, kind of?
Yeah, so it would be perpendicular. It would almost, your legs would kind of be making a T versus tilted back towards your butt. You can come down to your forearms here if you still feel like you have some stretch. Again, breathing deeply, or extend those arms. All right. Come on up. We are going to stay seated on the floor, transitioning into our cobbler pose. If you're seated in the chair, the best way to get this stretch is to take your feet out wide and lean forward. It's hard to keep your balance when your toes are together when you're seated up high. So we're going to have our feet heel to heel, toes to toes. Now, if you find that this is too you have too much tightness and it doesn't feel comfortable, you can always boost your bottom by sitting on a pillow or a bolster. Now, we want to tip forward here, still having that long line through our spine. So I don't really want you to round your back. I want your chest open, tipping forward. So you might not be that close to your feet, but that's okay because I want you to feel the stretch here. If you're feeling the stretch, you're doing it correctly. We can also take our elbows and press into those thighs to kind of open them up a little bit more.
Okay.
Are you feeling that stretch in your hips?
Oh yeah, yeah. Sure do.
Good. All right, come on up. Coming to a standing position. I'm just going to show really quickly, if you're not getting down on the ground, when we get to our quadruped, you're going to quadruped on your seat, elbow at your head, and open and twist. We'll be doing it on the floor as well. Here we go. Big inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, shoulders back. Exhale, step it out to plank. On your knees or toes or on your chair, and then step those legs into quadruped. So you're on your hands and knees, your back is flat. Let's take one hand behind the head. Twisting open, and then bring the elbow towards the inside elbow on your standing arm. Twist. Are you feeling that stretch in your shoulder?
Yeah.
Good. Nice deep breaths. All right, bring that hand down. We're switching sides. Hand behind the head. Bring it down, elbow to elbow, and up, open, and lightly twist. Keeping this straight arm here, a soft bend. We never lock our joints. Keep them nice and soft. One more. From here, plank side leg extension. So extend one leg, you're on one knee and your two hands now, and slide that leg up to the side to stretch. We can also slide the leg out further. I realize you can't see very well there, so I'm going to move back. Extend and slide the leg up, and then we can lean into it, leaning forward onto our forearms. Option, bringing the leg up to the side of the chair. We want to try to open up that hip. Let's switch to the other side, shall we? Bring that leg back and slide it around to the side. And then we can move it in that out direction. Coming down to our forearms. Pushing back into our bottom. Feeling that good stretch on the inside of this leg, yes?
Oh yeah.
Good. All right, come on up. Sun salutation. Big inhale up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, shoulders back. Exhale, step it out to plank. On your chair, on your knees or toes. Hands are stacked under the shoulders. Push back into your down dog. Feel that good stretch in your shoulders and your hamstrings. Let's pedal those legs. Bend right and left, right and left. One more. Come back to your plank and then step it in, rolling up. Standing hamstring stretch. If you need the chair for balance, you can use that. We're gonna kick one leg up in front of us and push our bottom to the back of the room. So from this direction, nice long line through the spine. I'm looking out at an angle. I feel it all the way up the back of this leg. Straighten that front leg a little bit. Soft knee, but straighten it. Are you feeling the back of the leg and in your glute here?
Oh yeah, I feel it pulling.
Okay, let's do that on the other side. Kick that leg up, push back, fold over again, neutral spine. We don't want to be looking straight forward. That's not good on the neck. I'm looking out at a slight angle in front of my long spine, in front of my feet here. All right, step it in. We've got a couple more stretches. Pyramid stretch. So your feet can be staggered in the same direction or perpendicular. This front leg is straight. Push back into the hips. What I want you to do is bring your hands either in the small of your back or lace them together for this stretch as we tip forward. So double duty stretch. We're opening our chest and stretching the hamstring on that front leg. Again, your arms can be here or extended. Come on up, let's switch sides. Switch your front leg. Push back into the hips. Hands are either in the small of the back or extended, tipping at the hip. Oh, that stretch feels good. And come on up, sun salutation. Big inhale up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, shoulders back. Exhale, stepping it out to our plank. On your knees or toes. We're going into child's pose, so on your knees is probably better. Pushing back onto your heels here. Reaching your arm forward as far as you can. Couple deep breaths here. If you're not getting down on the floor, we can be reaching forward in front of our feet. Shoulder stretch, arm goes across the thigh and reach, whether you're in the chair or on the floor. Keep that shoulder away from the ear, reaching forward as far as you can with your opposite arm to feel that good stretch. And other side, crossing the arm across, reaching in front. All right, coming to a seated position either on the floor or in your chair. I'm gonna do a couple neck stretches to close us out. All right, dropping your ear towards your shoulder. Keep some space there. If you'd like a little bit more pressure, just gently place your hand on top of your head. Again, we don't need to pull on the neck here. Just the weight of your hand is usually enough to extend the stretch. Back to center, other side. All right, we're going to do a semicircle now. So look at one shoulder and then drop the head around to the other side. Now, whereas this specific stretching workout today was focused on MMA fighting, let's look left, center, right, center. We also have stretch mobility and recovery workouts that would be beneficial for anyone doing cardio, kickboxing, or mixed martial arts. So look down, center, and look up. So we have whole stretch, mobility, and recovery workouts on shoulder focus, on opening up the hips, on neck and upper body. So if there's a specific area that is tight, you can always go back and do a even more targeted workout. Thank you for joining me. I hope you feel nice and stretched out and relaxed and ready to continue your day. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at SMR Stretch.